All right, what's up, guys and girls? How's it going? It's Else here. I am bringing you part 3 of my Chub Loon series, which is the elite fighting force that I am trying to theory craft. All jokes aside, basically this series is designed around the fact that in Dragon Bones, during the Dragon Bones DLC, there are going to be no AoE caps. And hopefully, when that happens, people are going to spread out a little bit more. And that means that more small-scale group PvP is going to exist. And so because of that, I wanted to try and theory craft an attempt to optimize a group play setup that would work very well, where all the builds kind of work very well together and they would function well in a group situation for open world PvP. Now, when I say all this, as I said before, a lot of this is subjective. A lot of this is my personal opinion. You know, a lot of this comes down to personal play style. It comes down to skill level with specific classes, yada, yada, yada. This does not mean that this is the specific best setup. This is just a setup that I think if people ran it effectively would be one of the better setups in the game. So for 5-man. And the reason I chose 5-man is because I wanted to choose a group slightly larger than Battlegrounds and small enough to where you have to pick and choose what everybody runs, to where you're going to be fighting outnumbered a lot. And so 5-man is just that's where I drew the line. And so this is going to be build 2 and 3 of the setup. This is going to be the same build for 2 people in this group. And so this is a Stam Warden build, and I'm going to dive into it the exact same way that I've dove into my builds in the past. I'm going to go through the gear, I'm going to go through consumables, CP, all of that, and I'm going to explain why we're running what we're running, and you know, try to give you guys alternatives. So if you feel like you need to have alternatives. So as far as consumables go, we are running Lava Foot, Soup, and Saltreese. You know, with Wardens, you get the bonus of having major fortitude or whatever, where you get the 10% health bonus. So when you're in combat, you can run slightly less health and still be pretty damn tanky. So we're going to run Lava Foot, Soup, and Saltreese. That's going to give us more stamina recovery. It's going to make us a lot more tanky. As far as consumables go, depending on the fight, we can run Lingering Health, we can run Tripods. Those are the 2 choices. So Lingering Health, and I've heard this debate a lot, like a lot of people seem to think that Lingering Health is really OP. It can be. Lingering Health can be really strong if you have recovery and if you can sustain in other ways. And if you cannot, Lingering Health really isn't, because you run out of resources, and although you're tanky temporarily, you run out of resources and then you die really quickly. So it's one of those, like, it can be good, but it really depends on how good of a player you are. So I don't think Lingering Health is super strong. I mean, it's strong. It can be strong. It can be really strong. It's just, I don't know. I guess I'm rambling at this point, but Lingering Health or Tripods depending on the fight you're going through. So, yeah. As far as our build goes, we're running 2H and bow. We're going to run the Asylum's Greatsword sharpened on the front bar. As you guys have seen before, when you deal damage with Reverse Slash, you generate up to 14 ultimate based on how much execute bonus damage it is dealt. So what this does is when we drop somebody down to low health, we execute, we build more ultimate. This gives us more ultimate to get to our, more ultimate regen to where we can get to our next ultimate, to where we can kill more people. This is going to be a very, very valuable weapon in group play. And so when you watch this, or when you see these builds, you'll see basically, I'm going to give you a little spoiler, but every single build is going to be running the Asylum's Greatsword for stamina for the Chub Loons, because of how powerful this ulti-gen can be. We're running double damage health poisons for this specific build, and we're running the Master's Bow infused on the back bar. Now, the reason we're running the Master's Bow, and the reason we're running the bow in general, is yes, we're not as tanky, but this gives us more damage that we can proc really easily with a light attack poison injection. You know, our light attack on anybody will give us 452 spell damage and weapon damage for all of our skills, and anybody we hit with our poison inject is going to take 300 more damage on top of that. And so this is just such a strong weapon that we can easily proc and group play. We go around a corner, we hit somebody with a light attack, we now have 450 more weapon and spell damage. That's almost an alchemist proc that we could just get with a light attack. And then we go and we do our combo, and we're going to do a lot more damage. So very, very effective, very powerful. And then when we're really trying to pound out healers, we're really trying to pound out tanks, you know, 450 weapon and spell damage plus 301, 750 weapon damage. We're going to hit really hard with this setup. As far as the monster set, we're running Veldreth. And the reason we're running Veldreth is for Wardens, we don't really have any chance for this to proc poorly. When we hit with our burst combo, we have a really good chance of this procking. And so when this procs, we have 3 spores go out that do 13,500 damage unbuffed. When that happens, our Subterranean, our Dawnbreaker, and this will go off. We will 3-shot quite a few people. It's so much burst damage, people are just going to naturally die with this. We have 2 people in our group running this. In large group play situations, a lot of people are going to melt. And then we were going to run 5 Clever Alchemists on the body. Now, the reason we're running Clever Alchemist over other sets is because... sorry, still trying to get over my cold. I'll get through this. The reason we're running this over 7th Legion is we choose with this set when we're going to do damage. And so although 7th Legion gives us heals, although it gives us more tankiness and more damage, and for 1vx it's better than Alchemist, for group play, Alchemist is better. We're going to have a group healer, as I showed you before, that's going to give us heals. It's going to try and keep us alive. We go around a corner. We go, okay, proc our pots. We're going to pop removables pots. We're going to go around the corner. We're going to hit with our burst combo with Alchemist, which is going to give us 640 more weapon damage for 15 seconds. It's going to really wreck people. And that's kind of the point of this build, is this build times 2 with this group is we can coincide how much damage we're going to do. So we're going to run this with our Master's Bow, which is also going to give us 750. So 750 plus 638. And then on top of that, we're running Agility. We're running 2 weapon damage, 1 recovery. We need the recovery just because we need a little bit more recovery. Agility, best 3 piece in the game. Not even really debatable. As far as skills go, on our back bar and our bow bar, we're running Secluded Grove. This is the healing ulti on the back bar. This is the ultimate that gives us ultimate. As silly as that sounds, but we're going to morph it to the ultimate that when somebody drops below 20% health, it generates ultimate. Really good skill. So all of a sudden, if we come around a corner and we're getting focused too hard and we can't reset and like people are going to go down, we can pop this, keep people alive. We can get the distance with our movement speed, get around a corner, rebuild ultimate really quickly because we're wardens, and then we can drop ultimates again and do some damage. We have a lot of functionality and maneuverability as a Stam Warden, and so that's what we're trying to use here. So that's why we're using Secluded Grove. Resolving Vigor, this is going to be our heal over time skill. Poison Injection, this procs our Master's Bow. We're really only going to use Poison Injection for the tankiest healers and all of that, but very useful skill. Ice Fortress, only 1 person has to use this, so keep that in mind, guys. Wrap a thick cloak of ice around you and nearby allies. Affected targets gain major resolve and increase physical resistance by 5280. A major ward, increasing spell resistance by 5280 for 24 seconds. You gain minor protection, reducing incoming damage by 8% for 24 seconds. So both of you can run this and get the minor protection, or if you want to, one person runs Rearming Trap, the other person runs this, and everybody in your group gets 5280. So it's your choice. That's the nice group play ability of Ice Fortress. Everybody can run it, or one person can run it, and you all get the buffs regardless. So up to you. Bird of Prey. Invoke this. Sorry, let me go back to that. Everybody gets the major resolve and major ward buffs, but not everybody gets minor protection. So in my opinion, it behooves everybody to run this to get minor protection. The 8% is very valuable. So if you don't think you need it because you think the healers are awesome, yeah, run another damage skill. Run Volley, run Trap, run Caltrops, up to you. Like, I'm not telling you guys what to run, but, I do think the 8% is valuable. If one person only needs to run this to buff everybody, then have the other person run one of those. Bird of Prey. This gives us Major Expedition. It also gives us Minor Berserk, 8% more damage for 14 seconds. This is very, very valuable. This is a must-have on the bar. This is going to increase our burst damage to take out big groups. Shimmering Shield is another must-have. It's a Shield of Ice. It also gives us major protection. 3 ultimate every 1.5 seconds. Basically, with Shimmering Shield and with a decisive weapon on our back bar, we do not have a decisive weapon, but what I have found with a decisive back bar weapon and Shimmering Shield, we can have trees up 100% of the time in an outnumbered fight. It's stupid. Like, it is so dumb how strong Shimmering Shield is. Like, this should not be as strong as it is. And I say that knowing that, in some ways Stam Wardens need help, but this is a very dumb skill, and we're going to use it until they adjust it. As far as our front bar goes, Reverse Slice, Critical Rush, Forward Momentum. This is the main reason we are running 4 stamina characters with this group. Is when we run across other groups that are very well coordinated, they're going to be running a lot of negates. They're going to try and take us out by negating us, and stamina isn't affected as badly by negate as Magicka is. Magicka classes, they're screwed. When they get stuck in a negate, they have to dodge roll, they have to get out before they can do anything else. Stamina, you can pop Rally, you can pop Forward Momentum, you can break the snare that you're in, and you can heal as you get out of it. And that's why we're running Wardens. That's why we're running 3 Wardens. That's why we're running a Stamina Sork. Although Bombers are going to do more damage, we have so much ulti gen, and we're so tanky with the amount of off healing and healing that we have, and we have high movement speed. In my opinion, this is going to be more effective than running a Bomber because of that reason. Because we can just, all of a sudden, let's say hypothetically, you run in with a Bomber, somebody pops a healing ultimate, you're snared, you die. Well, if all of a sudden, as a Warden, you pop your Subterranean, you hit a Dawnbreaker, and they healing ulti, you can back out, you can hit your Shimmering Shield, you can hit your Forward Momentum, you can get around a corner, and you're going to have your Dawnbreaker back, and you can still hit with your Burst combo. It's not as strong, but it's still very effective, and you just get it back so much more quickly. And that's why I think Stam Warden is just going to take its place over Magic and Nightblade. Subterranean Assault, this is going to be our main AoE. 12,000 damage unbuffed. It's a big AoE in front of us. It also gives Major Breach and Major Fracture. So very effective skill. Dizzying Swing is going to be single target skill, and our Dawnbreaker of Smiting. So we're going to hit with our Dawnbreaker. We're going to hit with our Subterranean and Dawnbreaker. They're going to land at the same time. That will proc Veldreth, which will also hit, and it'll be a lot of burst damage. As far as our CP goes, 37 Warlord, 19 Siphoner, 49 Tenacity, 56 Mooncalf, 18 in a Shadow Ward, 51 in a Tumbling, 27 in a Blessed, 61 Master at Arms, 5 Shattering Blows, 64 Mighty, 13 Piercing, 26 Precise Strikes, 34 in a Thaumaturge, 48 Ironclad, 27 Resistant, 43 hardy, 43 LA defender, 26 in a thick skin, and 43 into quick recovery. Now, as I've said before, this is going to be our hammer build. This is going to be the build that takes out a ton of people. And so we want to have 2 of these in our build, if in our group. If we're running a 5-man group, we're going to run a healer. We're going to run a Stam Sorg that's going to have negate. We're going to run our other Warden that's going to do other stuff. And this guy's going to be our hammer. And so what we're going to do is let's pretend this target skeleton has him and his 30 best friends, and they're after us, right? So we're going to go around this corner, and we're going to buff up, and we're going to do all this stuff. And we're going to go, okay, charge up, whatever. And so we have to be in combat. We're going to pretend they're hitting us. So we're going to pop a potion. We're going to hit with this. We're going to go in. We're going to Dawnbreaker. And it's all going to go off at the same time. And then we're going to start executing. And so you see there, it's going to be very effective because all of a sudden, when you hit with that Dawnbreaker, your sub-training is going to go off at the same time. You saw the Veladreth went off shortly thereafter. If they're on the ground, that Veladreth is going to all hit. We have no worries about it proccing poorly. And so that's why it's going to do so much burst damage. And if they're at low health, it's going to be this guy, another person, plus a Stam Warden, plus a Stam Stork, reverse slicing and executing people. People are going to die with this specific setup. So we have very high movement speed. We have movement speed with our Bird of Prey. If all of a sudden our magic recovery is low, we can dodge roll. We still have high movement speed. And so, oh, sorry about that. So we will always have high movement speed with the specific build. We can remove snares easily. We're tanky because we're in heavy armor. We have good healing because we're a magical or a stamina warden, and we have really high burst. And so this is just the only problem we have with this build is we don't have a burst heal with rally. But because we're running with a group healer, like I posted in my previous build, that mitigates a lot of that. And so as long as that guy's up, those issues are mitigated quite a bit. And so that allows Stam Wardens in this specific mold to do the things that they're supposed to do. So at the end of the day, this is going to be the hammer build. This build's going to hit really hard. These are the stats unbuffed. So 2894 with just rally. If I light attack and I pop a pot, we're at 4234 weapon damage. Fully buffed. 4234, 3561 stamina. 15,000 health, which is like 21,000 health, 10,000 magicka, 22,000 stamina recovery, and then 2200 critical resist. So pretty tanky, pretty good healing, really good damage. That's going to be the end of the build. If you guys have any questions or comments, please provide in the section below. If I missed anything or if you have any other questions, please ask. I'm more than happy to answer. As I've said before, I have not run this specific 5-person group in PvP because, I haven't asked people to run it, and I'm not going to. But I have run every individual build in PvP, and I think they would work very well together. So hopefully that makes sense. Like I said, if you guys have questions, comment in the section below. Thank you for watching.